Sorry about that. Take two.
You are live.
Okay, let's just redo the whole show again. Start from scratch.
Oh, okay. I don't think I have it in me.
Oh, we'll just make it up, I guess.
That's the best show
Hi,
ever.
everybody. I'm Jason, and that is Tom. Ooh.
What?
And we're Finger Flicked in Box, joined by special guest Seth Gilman.
What's up?
Live from Portland. But Seth, this is it must be kind of weird to see so much daylight outside at this time of night, huh?
This is true. This is very true. My mind says it's 9 o'clock.
Yep. So Seth is out in Oregon for the Pacific Northwest Custom Knife Show, and maybe we'll hear about that here in a little bit. And Tom did not go. Tom decided to stay home. Probably took a bath, wore a hoodie, sharpened a knife. Yeah, kept it real.
Watch some kids, life of a stay-at-home dad.
What's up, Patrick? How's it going?
Stay-at-home dad money doesn't pay for custom knife money. That's different echelon of
Kind of a different thing.
Yeah,
It's a different
kind of
thing.
different.
We're working on it for next year, just for the hangman, just for the hang.
That's right.
Gotta go.
So Seth, tell us about the show, Pacific Northwest Custom Knife Show. I know this show, it seems to be gaining notoriety and it seems to be gaining steam, and it sounds like it was a great time. Tell us a little bit about it.
So it's the fourth year of the show.
Okay.
Which is, so it's a fairly new show. This year here is more organized than last year. Small little convention center in this place called Seaside, which is right on the ocean. Beautiful beach out there and just nice estuary, like where the hotels are. It's really cool. The venue is really a really cool spot.
I think Tom described it as the Martha's Vineyard of the West Coast.
Yeah, it's like the Coney Island of the West Coast, but still, it's nice. They got the pizza shops and the indoor arcades and the ice cream parlors and stuff like that. And
merry-go-round.
Yeah, it's very much boardwalk sort of like type-ish place.
So is it a fudge town, a taffy town, or a hot dog town?
Not hot dogs, but I did see fudge and taffy.
Fudge and taffy. Okay.
Yeah.
If you go to Michigan, you don't get taffy. There's no taffy there. It's all fudge, and all the fudge places claim to be the first fudgery.
Yes. Well, so here, put it this way: the Inn at Seaside had saltwater taffy on the desk when you checked in.
Gotcha.
So it's but it's a smaller show. It's definitely more intimate. Like it's not like Blade where you have like 30,000 people showing up. Some people stayed overnight on the line, but even if you got there, I got there around like 8 o'clock the next morning. And it wasn't a crazy long line yet. And the quality of makers there was just unbelievable. I mean, you had like, I met Richard Rogers, Tom Crine, both Baraha brothers were there. Bill Coney came for the hang, which was awesome. Tim was there with his mom. It was a really good. Jim Vandervelde from HMC was there. I actually picked up a transient 2.9.
Very nice.
So purple glass, which was pretty cool. And Lucas Gumbiner was there. The Keenson boys. I mean, just the role goes on in terms of the talent that was there. And they all like the tables and they sit behind the tables and you just sit there and talk to them and whatever, but it's not super crowded either. So that interaction part it was almost like Makers a little bit, that vibe of Makers.
Sure.
Will run by Makers because it's a one-day show. So it's a really quick, thing they make, they bring a certain amount to sell and sometimes lotto and auction. So yeah, it was great. It definitely is a must see if you haven't seen it before. I hope to come back next year for sure.
So what was the most expensive knife that was sold that day?
So someone said someone went for $18,000, which doesn't surprise me. I know Lucas personally, Gumbiner, and he's a young kid, and his auction piece went for $11,000.
Wow.
And he was like shocked. He was like sitting there with a shocked look on his face. And me and Dan Hawkins walked up and we're looking at it and they were like, "Oh my God!" They were like, "Congratulations, Macy's." I'm pinching myself. I don't know what to. I've never sold a knife for that much money. Like I don't know what to do. Like you cash the check, man. You cash the check.
Go ahead and buy yourself that thickness sander, that surface grinder you were thinking about getting.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
So it was cool. He deserves every penny of that. He's an amazing kid.
That's awesome. You know, it's funny. I get myself ready for these knife shows, and in the week leading up to it, I'm always like, I don't know if I want to go. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of lack of sleep. It's a lot of walking around. I don't know if I want to go. And then at the end of the show, I always feel really good. I feel restored. Like I just enjoy the hang with all my friends and meeting new people and checking out all the knives. It's always it always feels really good at the end of the show. So I'm a little jealous you got to take in another one so soon.
Yeah, it was great. It was definitely worth it. Oh, and also Kershaw's a sponsor, so they gave out free knives on the way in.
Really? Wow.
Free Kershaw, CRK, and they were giving out free CRKs, CRKTs, and Kershaws, both local Oregon companies. So that was really, I didn't expect that either. I was like, that was awesome. You can go and not have to buy a knife because they just give you one.
Very cool.
So yeah, it was definitely well worth it. And I had a big win. Tom has the knife in front of him. I was at the Burnley table, and of course entered a lotto because what are your odds of ever winning? But he had a purple tuna, so I was like, well, now I have to win. So I put it in, and I talked to Lucas about it and whatever, and we were joking because like the only way this tuna is going anywhere other than Josh Haygood is if I win this in this lotto.
Yeah.
Since Josh gets every tuna he can find, and they're pretty much gone. But this was the result of the. Hold on, what closer so you can see. So this is called a sea monster design. It's got purple, and he made it like wavy, almost like the ocean, or like the baleen or the whale's jaw.
That's really good looking.
And then he does that sea monster jumping on the back of the blade. And he did this wash that almost looks like the ocean. It looks like the waves coming on the sand on the actual blade. Yeah, so it was really cool. So to finally have a custom piece from Lucas was pretty amazing and completely unexpected. So
I am surprised. I am surprised that Josh didn't end up with it because he seems to buy most of Burnley's output. But then I am not surprised because you always get the purple one. That's like 4 shows that I'm aware of where you managed to snag the purple knife.
Well, Lucas walked up to me afterwards. He's like, "Dude, you manifested that. That's amazing. I've never seen that before." I was like,
It's so funny.
The knife god smiled on me today. I don't know, but it was very cool. It was definitely very obviously the highlight of the show, but it was unbelievable.
Pretty funny. So let's see. Do you have your eyes on any other shows the rest of the year?
Oh, New York Custom Knife Show is coming up in August. That's a cool show. So I'll definitely go to that because that's local for me. I think that's it. I was maybe playing with going to Blade West, but I gotta see what the school schedule that we're working on. And then just thinking out to like even things like Noki and Blade, Texas, because I've had a bunch of my friends from Texas like, you got to come to Blade, Texas. So I might see if I can work that out. But that would be the next potential show up to New York Custom.
I think Loffer says that Blade, Texas is his favorite show.
Yeah, Matt Hunter from Hawks Nest Customs, he says the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Texas-based, so he's a little biased, but still.
Haygood will be
there. Oh, yeah, Haygood, yeah. Well, Haygood was
a biased opinion.
Yeah, Haygood and Mike were like, you got to come.
We just had lunch with them a minute ago.
Yeah.
Nice. How was the pizza?
It was good.
Yeah?
It was nice. It was a brick oven, thin crust. And so for pizza outside New York City, it was definitely up there. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
$8 for a whole pizza.
Well, yeah, like, the price was
for a margarita pizza on happy hour. It's for $8. It's the best pizza in town for sure, without a question of that.
Easy, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah, New York, that's like a slice.
I'm in kind of a pizza doldrum place. I've got one spot down the street that does Neapolitan really well. It's really, really good. It's wood fired, beautiful oven. So that's really good. But if you want anything else, it goes way down.
Yeah.
And then there's a Greek's place that's not too bad, but the pies are so expensive. Like a large pie with 4 toppings is like $24, $25. Like, get out of here. Come on, this is Indiana. It's not, this is not a resort town. You can't charge that kind of money for a pizza, and it's okay, but it shouldn't be that much.
Tom, you're saying there was Detroit pizzas or something around here?
We have. That's what's Jeff was asking. Like, what's Portland known for? It's like we're known for having really good versions of other people's food. Except for donuts are our thing, but like we have good pizza. That's outside of New York. It's not Portland style pizza, but we got like. I go to a Detroit style pizza place a lot. I like thin crust pizza. We have New York style pizza down the street. There's all sorts of places I want to take Seth.
Yeah.
I'm still now.
No, I'm here till Wednesday, so we're gonna go explore the town a little bit. It's my first time in Oregon. It's now my 39th state. So
wow.
Later in August, I'll be in Michigan. I'll be in 40th state. So getting there. So what's up, Randy? Purple Transient is fire. It is. That purple glass is amazing.
It's been a while since I did the math on how many states I've been to. I need to do that. It's been
you've been to
quite a few
before.
Yeah,
with all your driving.
One time I was in Iowa for work, and I ended up in a little town. I think it was Sioux City. And from where I was staying, if I went 20 minutes north, I was in South Dakota. And then if I went 20 minutes to the west, I was in Nebraska. So I did a loop, and I hit the extra 2 states that I'll probably never get back to South Dakota.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta go. Those are those some states I'm missing. I gotta make a trip. I've been there.
Well, guys,
might do Montana next year, so we'll see.
What's that?
Might do Montana next year, so we'll see.
Montana's great.
Yeah.
Well, part of it is great. There's so much. There's so much of it, right? There's a lot that's very boring. Make sure you bring like gear, so that if you have to sleep 2 nights in your car while to wait for somebody to drive by, that you have it, unless you're going to be in town, because man, it's really remote, and there's not a lot of people in that state. You've got more people on Manhattan Island than the whole state.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, I think you broke the internet this week with your post about shipping knives and about packing of knives. And it seems like nobody bothered to read it, and everybody jumped to conclusions, and everybody got red ass baboon about the way they pack knives. And the funny thing is I think only one guy did the my fault. And the rest of them just couldn't wait to tell you how they pack knives, right? And it seems like there's 250 people in the group that attach their self-worth to how much tape they use when they pack a knife. So now that you have an open forum and the whole internet watching, you want to kind of put a finer point on your point.
I'll tell the story about how this post generated. So yesterday or 2 days ago, going through my knives to sharpen, I grab a box. And there's this box right here, and I put the date on it when stuff comes in. This came in a couple days ago to sharpen. So this is turn. This box is completely sealed with tape. Fine.
Hold on. Fine.
Yeah.
You're fine with that.
That's fine.
So guys,
it's not my tape to waste. I wouldn't do it, but it's fine.
Right.
It doesn't stop me from opening the box, right?
Sure.
But I go to open the box, and over the flap of this box, there's 2 layers of tape. And they're very thick packing tape. So I take my K390 Dragonfly, which is the knife I keep on my desk, which is sharp, to open boxes, because for a living, I literally open boxes of other people's knives to sharpen them. So I open a lot of boxes. I would say I open more other people's knives than 98% of the people in the group. I have to do it a lot. So I've seen every different kind of packing stuff. Well, I go to open this up. It's not a big deal, but I get tape shit all over my knife. It was kind of a pain. I had to be careful not to cut too deep because I don't know what's inside, so I can't just jam through all the tape and cut like a heathen. I open the box up. It rips, so now the box is not really usable anymore. It's just kind of trashed. I go to take the knife out. Well, the knife can't be taken out of the box because it is taped like a mummy up in a roll of packing tape that was inside of packing bubble wrap that is taped to the side of the box. So to take this Spyderco, it's just a Spyderco, out of this box, I had to, like a surgeon, go into this box without scratching somebody else's knife. And that's the part I don't think people are understanding, is I'm working on somebody else's piece of property, and now I'm in a position where I could scratch it and mess it up. And I'm making $24 to do this, and this is literally doubling the time it's going to take me to sharpen this knife. So all I was frustrated with is, oh, this kind of sucks. It's taking me extra time. And that was just a Spyderco. I know we have an emotional attachment to our knives, but let's be realistic. It shouldn't take me forever to get out of the box. So I sharpen it, take the chip out, take a video of it, send the video to the guy. He pays me. And now I go to box it back up. And now this box can't really be used to ship again because it kind of got ripped when I had to take it apart. So I get a new box. I box it up in a this is what I don't think people understand, in an extremely professional manner. I box it up with new packaging. And it's set on my desk, and I'm like, well, now what do I do with this? Oh, I guess now this coated laminated box, I get to now take outside, throw in my garbage can, which I don't have enough room for my own stuff already, and just kind of waste this piece of stuff. So I don't know. It would have been nice if the box came and I could reuse it. I have extra boxes. That's fine, but it's kind of wasteful. So I was just thinking, you know what? That was kind of a pain in the butt for making $24. And I see this all the time. People do not understand, when I was saying in this post, how some other people pack their knives. So my request on that post was very polite. Please just consider the person that has to unbox your knife, because maybe they don't feel like scratching it. Maybe they don't feel like getting tape shit all over their knife. Maybe they don't feel like taking your garbage and throwing it away for you and then giving you new free packing supplies to send a knife back to you after they worked on your knife. You sent this knife to me. Why is it now more of an inconvenience to me to get your knife ready to send back to you? So that was my frustration. So I just said it in the post in a very respectful way. But the response I got was unbelievable.
I think we're over 250 comments on that one.
Yeah. And I literally meant, I didn't mean any words sarcastically. I literally meant I should not have to physically destroy a box to get a knife out of it, because there is no other product that you buy in the mail where the unboxing experience includes destroy package and rip out knife out of the inside. And
it feels like you're crying for the cardboard and that you're very sad that you had to destroy the box. So is that exactly what you're upset about? Or is it something else?
It's partially that this is just wasted garbage now that could have been reused. I have other boxes, but it was a pain in the ass. It was like, it was a waste of my time to unbox somebody else's knife, to take it out, to do them a favor, to sharpen their knife, to fix a chip. I shouldn't have to risk also scratching their knife when I get it out.
Well, let me describe something that I've seen happen to me probably 50 times. I'm not exaggerating. Probably in the range of 50 to 100 times I've seen this. Guys will take a knife and they'll put it in a Ziploc bag. Then they roll it up like it's a cigar, and then they wrap this in duct tape. And then they take the duct tape cigar and they tape it to the inside of the box like a mummy, like you described earlier. And the part that bothers me the most is I have to somehow extract the knife from the tape tomb without scratching the knife. So everybody that's like, well, why don't you get a sharp knife, bro? Well, I got a sharp knife. But how do I cut the knife out of the duct tape without scratching the knife? That's the problem. And I get shipped knives often that aren't my knives. I didn't buy it, so it's not my knife. I'm receiving it for somebody, and then I'm reshipping it. So now I have the extra anxiety because I do have to open it. I have to find out what's in it. If I'm going to declare it on the customs reports, I have to tell everybody what the knife is. So I have to open it. And now I'm the one taking the risk. And if I ruin the knife, then I have to buy the person a new knife, or I have to tell the guy that bought it, tough shit, I don't know how to open a box. But the reality is we're overdoing it. The knives come to you with maybe 3 packing peanuts. And then there's one piece of tape and there's a label, and somehow it gets there. All the other things that you ship in your life or that you receive from Amazon, they all show up in a cardboard box, and they're kind of anonymous because they look like all the other packages. But when you take your knife and you wrap it in two rolls of duct tape, it looks like there's something really precious inside. That would be a package that I want to steal.
Mm-hmm.
So my suggestion, politely, is to use these free envelopes that they offer at the post office that are waterproof and tear resistant, and they kind of accomplish a lot of what you're doing. In fact, if you take one of these and you roll your knife up in it and stick it in the box, it won't rattle around, I promise. Then you don't even have to tape it anywhere. So there's other ways to accomplish what you're trying to do. You want the knife to not move around. Okay, fine. How can we do that so that the person who receives it can open it? And then I want a package that can't be tampered with. Okay, well, that's doable too. And to Tom's point, wrapping it in tape is fine because you can cut cardboard with tape on it. That's easy. But when you have to extract the knife out of the inside and it's just wrapped in duct tape, that's too far. So it becomes a hazard for the person who's receiving the knife. And more than once, I've thought about returning the thing, just sending it back and go and do it again because I'm not opening this. It's it can be a little nerve wracking trying to get the knife out.
The part that I get it. A lot of times, like when I send a really expensive knife, I always use Tyvek. I use a ton of tape, but you know what? The seams of the box, I can see where they are. And you know what? This is the box. This is how I tape a box. There's one piece of tape over the top, which holds this edge down, and there's one over the flap. So you have to cut
perforated edge right there is the great spot to cut the box open.
So there's tape over that. That's for I seal stuff. But there's not 3 layers of tape over it, and there's not everything where I can't find where the edge is to cut. That's fine. But I also mail a lot of knives. And you know what? Dealers mail more knives than me. And when they mail every single knife out, they don't wrap the whole thing in packing tape. If you choose to do it, that's fine. The whole point was just think about the end user. I know people are very precious about their knife, but if you sent a knife to Spyderco like that for warranty work, and they spent 10 minutes unboxing your knife, do you think you're going to get the best response out of Spyderco? You're asking them to do something for you. Make it as easy for them to do their job as possible.
I bought a $1,500 custom knife once through the mail, and it came in a priority box with no tape on it. That's how the maker sent it, you know. This is probably largely going to be an agree to disagree kind of topic. I just don't think we need to have an arms race for who's using more tape.
And if people want to agree to disagree, I will. If I need to revise the statement to say this: if you're going to send me a knife, don't send me a knife like that. I don't want to deal with it. So if I have to go revise my post to say don't send me knives like that, I will. But don't send me knives like that to work on. It's kind of rude to me to do that to me so I can fix your knife.
It's probably not funny when you unbox 30 knives a week.
Yeah, it's not funny. It's a pain in the ass.
It's also, you're not shipping a knife that's been sold. Like, oh, I have to make sure this gets securely to the new owner. You're getting a knife that you know is coming back to you. So it's also like mentality-wise too, like what you're doing by making it bulletproof. You're not selling it. You're never going to see it again. Or now it's going to Tom to forever. It's coming right back to you. So, you know, because of the purpose of what you're saying for too, I think that also.
The other part,
how you wrap it up,
is what happened to this magical world of, isn't unboxing experience part of like this whole hobby? Like if Lynch Northwest sent you packages like a kilo of Coke instead of like nice, beautiful layers that you could take apart and enjoy and have a fun experience, their stuff gets to where it's going to go. It doesn't get stolen out of the box. They've figured shipping out. That's great. I figured shipping out. I use supplies that are free from USPS. But opening a box shouldn't be impossible.
Hey, Sam, they're not losing packages because there wasn't enough tape on it. They're losing the whole package.
Yeah.
And I don't know that the rate is increasing. If you know for sure that the rate is increasing, I'd love to know where you saw that.
If this was an issue that with the boxes were getting manhandled, just punched through and ripped apart by someone's hand, that I bet dealers would probably take notice of that faster than anybody else and stop shipping the way they ship.
So, Chris, your point doesn't really matter with what we're talking about here. Would you have preferred the scales had been duct taped to the inside of a box? That's kind of where we're at. Like if it had been wrapped in tape, it wouldn't have been any less risky. I would like to see those in boxes, but envelopes are cheaper to ship than boxes, so that's probably why they choose that. About 30 of you have received this from me. This is a little box from OtterBox, and a bunch of companies make these, right? But it's a waterproof container that holds about 6 knives wrapped in a polish cloth. And what I do if I'm shipping a knife that I intend to get back is I put it in this wrapped in a microfiber, and then I drop it in a padded envelope, and it gets there and it gets back. And so if you're sending knives to Tom, you don't really have to duct tape them into anything. They'll get there. Christian, I think Christian is right. Some folks are not going to be convinced. No, they're not.
No.
Everybody
I guess
likes to
all
be
I'm
right.
trying to convince people of is to read the words that I wrote and take them literally for when I say destroy a box. Like there's no reason.
This whole conversation won't help. We're not going to win any minds with this conversation. They've already decided more tape's better.
Next one's going back. Next one, I'm going to make an example of it, but
they're going to float down the river.
Don't make it someone else's problem.
PM3. So yeah, that was fun. Anyway, I liked watching everybody argue to death.
It was an arms race. You're right about like I packed all the people that posted pictures of the packages that they send out. I didn't say that they did a bad job or anything either. That was the other part. I was like, here's my box. I'm like, looks like a box. Looks like I could probably open it. That's fine.
I've actually bent pocket clips trying to pry the knife out of the inside of the box. I should have just cut the box open and just filleted it open and pulled it out. But I've reached in to grab the bundle of shit that's taped to the side of the box and then yanked it. And when I finally got it out of the box, the pocket clip was bent. So that was a fun day.
I've also used longer knives. The reason I use a Dragonfly to open stuff is because you can choke up on it, have very fine control of the tip. I used to open stuff up with whatever was in my pocket, which would be a PM2 back in the day. And I've definitely, my subvert pouch has a nice big slash right across it because I got a little bit too aggressive with how deep I cut. So stuff does get cut.
You can go on USPS.com and go into their store and you can order envelopes and boxes for free. And you can take an envelope and wrap the knife in it and then put it in a box and then put the box in an envelope. And now it's kind of triple packed and it's waterproof and it doesn't cost you anything. All you gotta do is stick your label on it. You're good to go.
Here's one thing that I think I don't fully grasp the psychology of. We all are really into knives, so we think that they're a high target of theft item out of the mail. Most people don't care about knives, and if they know about knives, they don't realize that you're sending like an $1,000 knife through the mail. So like I would much rather someone advertise Knife Center on the out of my box than like Apple, here's an iPhone in this box. So I understand that like you don't want to advertise a knife, but like it's not people's main target of like they're searching for the mail, waiting for a knife to come through. There's a lot of stuff that gets sent
there's lots of things that have the name of the product on the box.
Yeah.
Apple, Dell, every Dell computer comes in a box that says Dell on it. So anyway,
yeah,
that's solved. Solve that one. Let's see. What else is going on?
It's summertime. I've been taking kids to swim class. It's really cool to watch my kids learn how to swim.
Absolutely. It's really funny.
They a 4-year-old and 6-year-old. My 4-year-old daughter has been swimming for a long time with my father-in-law, so she's really comfortable with the water. My son, he hasn't been as exposed until now, so we took not private swim lessons. We took private swim lessons last winter, and it was expensive. I had to drive a half hour, and he didn't really get like really into swimming. But City of Portland Public Parks has a program now, and $65 for 2 weeks for half hour a day, every single day. And I think that's the way to do it, is like literally go every day. And then one day a teacher came up to me, he's like, he had his breakthrough today. Today was his day that he can officially like go underwater comfortably, and like he like got comfortable, and that was really cool to see him. He'd pop out of the water and look at me and wave, and like every time he'd come up and down, he'd like look at me and like try to get confirmation of like he did a good job, and it was fun to watch. And his hair was this long, so he'd come up and he'd have to do this to get all the shit out of his face, and so it's fun. We're going to Hawaii, so he had to get comfortable with the water before we left.
Woody's right. Enjoy this time. It flies by. So this week I went to go visit my cousin in Atlanta, Georgia, and her family. And then I have another cousin from Kentucky that came down with her family. So we had a little family reunion, and it was funny to watch. My cousin's boys are 10 and 8, and they're very huggy. They're always running back to their parents and hugging them. And my daughter, she like wants to she like gives me the Heisman every time I go in for a hug. And it was really funny to watch the difference between boys and girls. Like you would think that the little girl would be lovey, but no, they reach an age where they're kind of done with that. Like, don't touch me. While the boys are still good with it.
I've interrogated my son. I'm like, you're not going to grow out of me hugging you and snuggling you. And he's like, never. And I'm like, eventually I'm going to stop this if you're too old, but I don't want those days to go by. I'm treasuring them now for sure.
Yep. And Patrick says, my kids are 21 and 17. No hugs anymore. Swimming skill is definitely good for all. You know, I was telling Tom the other day, I've had 3 friends drown, and they weren't kids. They were grown-ups. Like one was 18, one was in his 20s. Another one is in college. So it's crazy. And I know 2 of them couldn't swim. So it's pretty hard in America to make it to the age of 18 without taking swim lessons, because at minimum, you know, it's part of our K through 12. But it just so happened my high school was was being remodeled while I went there, and my class was like the only class to not get swim class. So they couldn't bus us to the next closest school to do swimming.
Yeah.
So there were a bunch of kids that weren't required to have it, but you know, there's a lot of people that don't know how to swim out there, and it's such an easy skill to learn, especially when you're a kid. They just take to it. So that's a good thing to know.
Now he's in so he had to retake the same level class because he's not ready to move up yet. But now he's like the good kid in the class. So now he's like killing it. So maybe next time he'll move up.
Seth, do your kids have to take swimming as part of their curriculum?
They don't have to, but we have a pool at our school.
Yeah.
And we have kids sign up. And actually one of the things, because we work with Bronx kids, one of the things we actually offer is a lifeguard training class. So the kids who learn how to swim actually then can go and get lifeguard trained. And then they're making $26 an hour. And there's a demand for them. The city's always short. So we have city beaches, pools. And then in the wintertime, these private clubs will hire them to work for them. And so for the money that they're making and the skill to have, we will get kids into the lifeguard training class. But it's so important. It's one of those things. In New York, they also have Stu Leonard's is a big food chain, and their grandson died in a drowning. So they have a program called Stewie the Duck, and they teach kids how to swim, because they're like, it's so easy that the parents, it's like, you're watching the kid. Oh, you're watching the kid. Okay, everyone's watching the kid, and then no one's watching the kid, and then it's too late. So Stewie the Duck is about, training kids how to swim and things like that. It's just such an important lesson. I mean, I remember when I don't even remember 4, 5, my parents started teaching me how to swim. I have these vivid nightmares of almost drowning, but it was because they literally throw you to the deep end of the pool. And they're like, oh, look, he's doggy paddling. Yeah, after it was died, what do you do? But yeah, I swim, and eventually I became a lifeguard, and it was great. But it's definitely a skill that I'm glad I have, and it's I highly recommend it. You get your kids at least somewhat competent in some of that stuff, because what's his name just died from drowning in Costa Rica.
Oh, yeah.
The guy from the Cosby Show. Yeah, it's crazy. But 50-year-old guy, but it's a thing.
I was out on the lake this week, and one of the floaties got away, and someone had to swim out and get it and bring it back to the boat. And it was a lot farther than I thought. and the wind kept carrying it as I was swimming after it. So by the time I got to it, I had to get all the way back to the boat again, and it was hard dragging the floaty while I was trying to swim. And it made me realize, like, man, I might have bit off more than I could chew, but I knew how to tread water. But more than that, I knew how to take a break. Right? If you learn how to lean back and just take a break, you can rest for 30 seconds and then go again. Right? So I had to kind of reach deep for that old training that I haven't needed in a while, and made it back to the boat. Everybody gave me a round of applause.
Nice.
Like, "We thought you were dying out there." I said, "No, it's just farther than I thought."
Almost, but no.
Seth, you should tell the kids that after they complete their certification for lifeguard, then they qualify for ops focus.
Yeah.
That's something.
Good. Exactly. Come on, kids, get discounts on knives. Let's go.
No sprint runs, though. No sprint runs.
No sprint runs.
Unfortunately.
10 a year.
That native would have been so nice at his ops focus price. I am enjoying my Native 15 though. It is definitely worth it.
Absolutely. Trying to think what else is going on. I sharpening my Rex 121 PM2 blade. It's funny.
Which I brought to Oregon for Tom to sharpen for me.
Well, yeah, that's true. I went a couple years not sharpening these because I just wanted to leave the factory edge and not mess it up. And the funny thing is as I get better at sharpening, I keep revisiting the knife, and I'll look at it and I'll go, it's sharp, but I think it could be sharper.
Yeah.
And so I put it back in the system, and then I find a weird spot and I fix it. And it's clamped up right now in the jaws on my KO3. And when I came up here to set up this computer so I could do the show, I had to move the sharpener out of the way so that I had desk space. And it was like, man, I really want to do that right now. I don't want to wait till later. I want to finish it.
When I have a knife that's like I'm set on sharpening it, or I chip an edge, or I find something wrong with it, I can't think about anything else until I get an edge on it. I can't handle it. Like the idea of it not being as good as it can be all the time. You just want to work on it. Yeah.
It's funny. These knives are super thin behind the edge, but when you're sharpening it, you figure out like these knives were hand ground. The dude that made these did not have a machine. He did them by hand. So there's little variations here and there where they're just not quite perfect. So I'm having to kind of compromise on the edge in some spots because I don't think I could ever make it perfect. And the only way to find out is to remove a lot of material, and I don't want to do that either.
Yeah. So is it now sharp? I'm curious about Rex 121's sharpenability, because like I can get it sharp, but getting it like really sharp, I've struggled with.
When the Sage came out in 121, I did what I thought I should, and I left a coarse edge on it. And it was sharp and it was toothy. And when you dragged it across cardboard, it felt like it was going across the driveway. Like it was really rough. And I know that it would probably keep that edge forever, but I thought it might get sharper. So I put a polished edge on it. And I don't mean strop to death. I mean like a high stone. So I went high on the stones, and it is way sharper. So, yeah, you can really go acute on it for sure. But there's just so much carbide in that steel. It's so full of carbides, and like it has tungsten, it has vanadium, it has all kinds of stuff in it. It's like the fruitcake of steel. So it contains so many different carbides. So Yeah, but at the same time, it sharpens like any other steel. It just does. It burrs fine. You know, it grinds. If you have good sharpening stones, it sharpens fine. You know, not that hard. It does take more passes than say Vanex or VG10. So I would say, you know, Sean Houston has been doing a lot of conversation around what does ease of sharpen mean. And when you really get down to it, there's not that lot of difference in steels. There's a little bit of a difference, but not a lot of difference. And the more knives I sharpen, the more I realize that it doesn't matter. But to a certain extent, there are steels that are just ridiculously easy to sharpen. So a low hardness steel like VG10, it almost melts on the stone. You know, when you're sharpening it, you get a really big burr, like really big. It's obvious that there's a burr there, and that's because the material just sort of works very easily. Whereas the Rex 121, it as you sharpen it, it's a little bit more of a powder. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's ease of sharpening. It was a pretty funny topic that Sean kept on coming back to. Somebody has some good definitions of it. It should be effort plus time or whatever. Like there should be some equation to that, but just the general understanding of it is like you're saying, like VG10 is an easy steel. Yeah, it is, but it also, is it too easy? Is it too soft? Is it burr too much? Is it harder to get rid of the burr? Is it easier to get rid of the burr on some other steel? There's a lot of factors that go into it. So like I get asked this a ton of like, what's the easiest or the best steel to sharpen? My favorite steel to sharpen is Sean's 15V. And it's because when Sean created the heat treat for that, Sean is a sharpener. And so he thought about like, what are qualities that make a steel good to sharpen? And one of them is ability to apex the edge and form a burr and the ability to remove that burr cleanly. And to me, if you define ease of sharpening, it's with an asterisk saying with diamonds or CBN stones, this steel is extremely easy to sharpen for me. And that's why I find ease of sharpening can get misconstrued. And I had a comment on Sean's post that I laughed every single time I reread it to myself, is that Blade HQ made this up on so they'd have something to show on their charts. Basically, it's like everyone saw those little diamond patterns that they used to produce on the steel, and that became like the resource everyone before knife steel in there. Everyone like, well, this one's got a point this way and it's extra stainless, but it's super hard to sharpen. So this part goes up here. And
you know how I know it's subjective and not science? There's no measurements on it. It's just more and less, right? And so it's not science. And somebody threw it up in the group and said, is this even remotely close to accurate? And I said, no, it's not, because you can't put sharpenability on a chart. It's not a thing. You can't measure sharpenability. Now, one thing is true. If you talk to a knife maker about the difference between K390 and VG10, they'll tell you that as they're grinding blades, they can do 3 VG10 knives before they have to change the belt out. But if they're doing K390, they have to go through 4 belts on one knife. And the reason is that the steel is harder and the carbides damage the grit on the sandpaper. So it just wears it down. And so even if you use really good sandpaper, the steel contains those little carbides, and they're very, very hard, and they wear out the sand. So those premium steels like Rex 121, it wouldn't surprise me if this guy had to use 15 belts to do the one blade, and the belts are not cheap. So guys like using AEBL, and they like using RWL 34. They like using CPM 154 when they're a lot of the custom knife makers that you saw today, Seth, they're still using those steels because they're awfully easy to work with.
I just use RWL almost exclusively, and actually the skiffs just started experimenting with like LMAX and some other ones. But when I was talking to Steve about why, like he said, RWL takes an edge really nice and it's very easy to polish up to get that look that he has for his knives, and which makes sense. So like in terms of like some of those like key custom steels that are still there and they're still good steels, and they still, you know, it was funny. I was talking to Tim Reeve, and we were just talking about like knives, and you know, he's got like the 5 methods of opening it or whatever. I'm just like, but does it cut? And he goes, right? Isn't that the question that you really want? Like at the end of the day, like, you know, you can finger flick in 5 different directions with you know, with your pinky finger, but you know, does the knife actually open and cut like it's supposed to? And like some of those steels like ABL and RWL, like they are great steels just to make a good knife with. And like the tuna I have, I think is 151 or 154, which is a popular new, you know, it's, I mean, it's been around forever, but I mean, for what it is, and again, it's on a tuna, so I'm not complaining about it. But I find that that's a great steel too, and it's just, it's not these like hyper exclusive. And like everyone knows, my favorite and most tasty steel is S90V. But again, a lot of makers I talk to are like, it's a harder steel to work with. Like you got to do a little extra on that to get that the way you want it. So it's not the easiest steel to work with, you know, from a maker's point of view in terms of like if they're doing like handmade or they're doing custom type stuff. But production wise, once you get a machine going on it, then it's, you know, it's a whole different thing. But
I think when you're making a knife or sharpening a knife, those two barely overlap. When you're sharpening, you're dealing with a really small amount of steel, right? In a really small area. Whereas when you're making a knife, you're profiling a big chunk of steel. So I think it's interesting and important to talk to knife makers. But as a sharpener, I'm finding that the differences in the steels are not nearly as big as it is for making knives, where you're running through belts. So
to get the profile and the angles right, it's definitely a different beast.
Well, I almost find when I talk about easy sharpening on different steels, it's like it shouldn't be like this one's easy to sharpen. It should be like, and this is hard to identify, is this one's bad to sharpen. Like I'll get kitchen knife sometimes that is the heat treat or whatever the steel it is. It's some steel I've never heard of. It's just a kitchen knife. But like it's soft, but it's the ability to like, I shouldn't have to spend an hour trying to get rid of this burr that won't come off of it forever.
Yeah, so a mass-produced kitchen knife from Kohl's is not going to have a perfect heat treatment to it. It's not going to be the desirable alloy. Their main criteria is it can't snap when I'm cutting a watermelon open, and I don't ever want to see rust on it, you know. So they're making kitchen knives to do that. And also, can I throw it in the dishwasher? Please let me throw it in the dishwasher. I don't want to have to wash it by hand. So will I ruin the temper in the knife if I run it in a cycle in the dishwasher? You know, so that's those are the design criteria for some kitchen knives, and so consequently, you get basically junk steel that's really hard to sharpen. Those gas station knives we all tease and make fun of, you almost can't sharpen them. The steels sometimes aren't even hardened.
You're brittle, like just when the edge falls apart. Yeah, the edge just it doesn't develop an edge; it just falls apart.
Yeah, it's like sharpening a dark chocolate bar. It just crumbles as you pull the stone on it. Oh snap! Look who's here!
Hey, Casey!
New Papa Casey's here. Welcome to the world. Waylon Michael James Hedges. Pretty sure I got the name right.
Nice.
So Casey's a new daddy, and his daughter is now a big sister. And yeah, hi Caitlin.
That's awesome. Well, I like my answer the best for easy sharpening. I was like, I got a guy.
I know a guy.
Covers my knives for me. I brought 7 knives out here so he can get some work done. But I figured I got some 15.
I like that answer. That's the correct answer. Ease of sharpening is
get a guy.
Pirateship.com in a box.
Doesn't hurt Tom. It doesn't hurt Seth at all. Vanex is nice to sharpen. It's a steel with a lot of things going on in the matrix. Like there's a lot of stuff in it, but it doesn't have a lot of the hard carbides in it. So if you look at the charts on Knife Steel Nerds, you'll find that the edge retention is medium low. The hardness, the toughness is pretty good. And then the stainlessness is off the charts, right? So you're buying that steel because you don't want it to rust. And you're trading off the edge retention and you're trading off the toughness to get it there. So I've never had trouble sharpening Vanex. It does form a burr. The burr comes off. but that's more a function of how the steel was heat treated than the alloy.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but most of those like rust-proof ones, like was it H1, LN200, Vanex, they're all on the softer side in terms of like yeah, you can dunk in the ore all day, but like you can also
Magnacut's probably the best of them, and it's
they're not tool steels, and they lack the ingredients that you need to make the hardness that high, so they tend to be lower in hardness.
Of all that family of steel, so Vanex, H1, LC200N, Magnacut probably has the best edge retention of those steels, and it's an average edge retention steel. It's not a K390 or something like that. It's an average edge retention steel.
That being said, when you look at the ingredients in Magnacut, it doesn't make sense why it would be so stainless. So it's partially the ingredients in the steel and partially the way that you heat treat it that gives you those the magical properties. So generally, as an axiom, if you look at the level of the chromium in the steel, that will roughly tell you how stainless it is. So a steel like M398 has a ton of chromium, like it's 20% chromium, and that steel is very stainless. S110V has a ton of chromium, but the amount of chromium in Magnacut's really low. It shouldn't be stainless, but the way that Laren designed that steel, the chromium, it calls it staying in solution. So the chromium doesn't like leave the steel, and it allows it to stay very, very stainless. So
that's because Dr. Laren's a genius, just so you know.
He figured out you don't have to cram a lot of chromium into a steel to make it stainless, and he doesn't like chromium. Like when Tom and I interviewed him, he finds chromium to be an annoying ingredient in steel. It tends to make the knife brittle. It tends to make it brittle's the right word. It makes the steel is just not as tough as it could be if it had less chromium in it. So generally, if you chart all the steels on in the world and you arrange them by chromium content, you'll find that the hardness goes down as the chromium goes up. So he figured out how to hack that, which is really interesting. I don't think he gets enough credit. I think he gets way too much hatred. People hate that steel for no good reason, only for, I think they believe that things that are said about it come from Laren, and they don't. We have this thing in our society right now, Seth, where we do stuff like, I hear reporters do it all the time, where they'll say, some would say, or people would say. It's like, who says? Well, some say.
What people?
Some say that it's a crappy steel. Oh, okay. Well, what do you think about it? Have you tried it? No, I don't own any. Okay.
Yeah, those are so dangerous. The steel, some say game. I can't count how many different myths have been propagated through the night. Like everyone knows every steel is this way because they heard so-and-so say, and there's a topic about it. And one time they saw a broken blade, and all those steels are now bad because they heard it.
So I think Casey makes a good point here. Laren had very specific instructions on how to heat treat it. And I think some knife makers did not follow that, or they looked at the steel and said, this is how it should be done. And they did it their way. Right. And it didn't turn out so good.
That whole controversy that guy had fixed blades, that he had to like scrap everything because he said there's a problem with the Magnacut. I forget his name. He went back out of business, but
yeah, two things can be true at the same time. He did prove that there were voids in the steel, but he also stole about $30,000 worth of down payment.
Yeah.
And he defrauded his business partner to the tune of about $40,000. So he'll be missed.
I think also there's a thing, things get like overpopularized, and everyone's like, there's fatigue in the community that you get. Like for a while, it was like, everyone was talking about, S35, and then it was M390, and then it was Magnacut. Like it's like the newest trend of like the hottest steel that everyone wants. And, but it's also like, find the steel that you like, then why you like it, and then just go with that. Like if that's the kind of steel that you want in your knives. But
I'm pretty sure he hired a third party, Andrew. So while he should have been making knives, he paid a third party to test it, and they found it. and there was an apology. Not an apology. There was an admission of that they were going to refund him for it. Pretty sure I saw that stuff. Never a lab report to collaborate the claims. I seem to remember there was, but I wouldn't swear to it. So if you say so. I think that when you get in a pinch and you've taken a lot of money from people and you owe a lot of knives and you prefer fidgeting and you prefer the fidget and the tinker over the doing, then it's easy for stuff to pile up, right? I know a scale maker like that. That guy just takes orders and then he screws around and he never actually makes anything. He spends his time designing the next thing or tweaking the design, and he doesn't get around to it, right? So then you get it right when you don't want it anymore.
You did get it after you sold the knife that it goes to.
That happens a lot. I already sold the knife. I don't want it anymore. I was the acting quality manager at Crucible at the time. Well, Andrew, you sound like a subject matter expert.
Touche.
I'm glad you're watching. I'd love to have you on the show. If
Absolutely.
if you give us your email, I'll have you on right now and you can talk about it.
That's too awesome.
Yeah, touche.
And I do.
What did I see then? Maybe you made it up.
It could have just been a lie.
Could be a lie.
Could have been claimed.
You saying liars lie? I don't believe it.
Sometimes.
I would like to. I am a fan of Crucible. I miss them.
Well, Andrew, I stand corrected. You're right. Yeah. So anyway, back to steel. You know, when you make the steel, you know what's funny, Seth? I once saw a sheet of MagnaCut that had not been hardened yet, and it was rusty. The whole thing was rusted. It looked like it had been covered in like Cajun spice.
Oh no!
And I went, huh? What's that? And they went, you won't believe it. Guess. And I said, I don't know. What is it? Is it 52-100? And they go, no, it's MagnaCut. Like, what? And they said, yeah, it will rust until you prepare it. So it's pretty crazy. I don't know why it didn't occur to me that could happen, but it blew my mind for a while.
Wow. Yeah, I guess the secret's of the heat treat.
It is.
Casey mentions Rex 45. I do enjoy Rex 45. That's a good tool steel.
I always liked Rex 45 10V and 15V. The Rex 45 PM2 has held up extremely well. It's a great steel. Rex 45 is it's pretty tough. It has great edge retention. It's a good steel.
It's fun to play with, like patina. It's fun to. Walter Calico's got some cool ones, I think.
Dude, Walter's got some sick ones. His work is just gorgeous.
It's funny when people see Walter's knives. I get messaged a lot. Like when I say I sharpen, I do polished edges. People are like, well, you can polish the whole blade. And I'm like, no, that's not the same thing at all.
Guys, look at this. Look at this. I had Walter polish a blade for me. And I just found this the other day in my drawer. And I didn't throw it away. This is the list of all the grits that he used when he polished it.
Oh my God.
Look at that. He started 150, 180, 220, 320, 400, 600. I don't know who has all of these, let alone does it, right? So, and I'm not sure what the symbols mean, but it might mean that maybe he did the 3K 4 times on each side. And the 8K, he did 8 times on each side. But this is just one side. Like the back has more.
Oh, shit.
Look at that.
Oh, it goes up to 100K. Jesus Christ.
He went all the way up to 100K. So think about that. Like, I don't know how long this took. It had to be hours and hours.
I think one time, I don't know how much of his just shoot from the hip number, but I've heard him say like 40 or 80, I think, to do a blade. He might be better at it now because he has a good collection of polished blades now. Yeah. But it's hours and hours and hours. It's not like he throws it on a buffing wheel and it comes off looking like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I love the ones he patinas and then polishes, which is just the look is just amazing. It's art. It's a high level of art with the work he puts into that stuff.
He told me that he'd rather polish a high hardness steel than a low. And it occurred to me while I was sharpening this 121 the other day, I kind of prefer sharpening the high hardness steels. And the reason is when I sharpen VG10, I gouge the shit out of it with my stones, and they get scratches that I can never get out, because the steel's softer and the stones just leave deeper gouges. Whereas the harder steels, they're a little more forgiving. Like, it's harder to scratch them. And that's what Walter found, was that you could really like lean into it and polish it without worrying about affecting the color or the texture.
The hardest steel, and I've been trying to figure this out for me to polish and make look good on a mirror edge, is Spyderco S30V with DLC coated blade. And I can't figure out if it's because my camera won't focus because of the matte black coating on the blade when I'm trying to take a video of the edge. But the edges never look as nice on just basic DLC coated S30V blades. And I don't know if it's because it could be because I'm scratching them more, but like the mirrors never look as good on those blades as they do just a nice satin 15V edge or whatever.
I have a theory, and Andrew might be able to substantiate this, the expert. When they put DLC coating on those steels, they have to heat it up to like 800-900 degrees. And generally they don't temper the steel that high. So you are adjusting the desirable temperature to accommodate the coating. So it would make sense that the DLC version would work differently.
It was just weird. I had someone, it was one of the few people I've had that was disappointed in the mirror I'd done. Like, I don't say my mirrors are perfect, but it was like, yeah, like I sharpened it 2 full times. And I was like, it doesn't look as shiny as, it's not shiny enough for me to take a video of for Instagram. It wasn't cool to show off.
Yeah, I remember Chris Ortiz was messing around with like nano coating because it doesn't heat up the steel. It's done cold, so it wouldn't mess with heat treats. So that was kind of a cool thing that he was doing for a little bit, just to see how it was. I heard it was difficult getting a standard. You had to do that process a couple times to get the right look to it.
Yeah, that was a cool coating. It was pretty strong and fairly thin, and you could do it in different colors. So hopefully someday he can scale that and do his new knife with it.
Yeah, I'm excited for his new knife. So excited.
Could be that the DLC is ultra hard, not giving you a consistent surface to polish against. To be fair, I'm terrible at sharpening. My biggest pain in the neck with DLC is if you go too low in your stones, then you end up leaving little micros, shiny spots along. Yeah, I screwed up a few of my knives early on doing that.
There's definitely some times when I've gone back through DLC knives and had to drop the angle by a degree to pick up that little glint of an edge of the satin or little scratches or whatever's left against the DLC. You got to be careful for sure.
Yeah. My favorite move, Tom, is I go up through the stones and I get to like, I don't know, go through the 8,000 stone and you do a little strop and then you look at it and you go, this looks like shit. What you do is you go back and you pull your 800 Venev and just go, and it makes it smoky. And you go, look at that. It's so pretty.
There's a lot of times when I'll like, I don't know. I do mirrors a lot of times purely so I can make a stupid Instagram video so I can get business. That's a lot of times. So I'll do it to my own knives when I have no one else to sharpen. It's like, this one got a mirror, but I'm going to carry it. And it's like, it looks fine, but I really just want a satin edge. So I'm just going to throw it back on my sharpener at 400 grit and make it look satin for a second just because it's less fussy than this mirror edge. Try and take pictures of it and make it look perfect in the light or whatever.
Well, you'll care about this, Tom. I found that the mirror edges are harder to keep clean, that the tape residue tends to stick more. There's something about a low grit edge that the tape comes off easier.
I've sliced my finger open. I can't count how many times with a magic eraser trying to rub shit off the edge of a knife from opening a box.
On the mirror edge.
Yeah. I've learned it's not worth going down the edge. You will slice your finger. I've band-aided myself so many times. You got to go off the edge.
So if I can't get it off and it's really pesky, I'll lay down a polished cloth, like a microfiber. I'll lay that down and I'll put some paint thinner on it, and then just like I'm stropping the edge.
Yeah.
And it melts the glue off and pulls it off.
Yeah.
You could do the same with Goo Gone if you don't mind the stink of the orange. You know, Seth, sometimes 20 minutes into the show, I wonder if we're going to come up with enough stuff to talk about. And then it's an hour and I go, we made it.
Yeah. And then it's like bonus points. Now we're in overtime. It's like,
right now it doesn't matter. The pressure's off.
Well, the weird thing for me too is just what, like, looking at some of the chat, and then people are like, oh, it's late, good, see you guys later or whatever. I'm like, it's 7:18 on the West Coast, and like, oh my God, what time is it in New York right now? It's probably past my bedtime.
So Chad, I've been trying to figure out how to teach this properly on how to do a mirror edge, but if you're having problems getting a mirror edge, the problem is not your 3000 stone. The problem is probably your profiling stone. So if you're going too low and you're making too big of scratches, that can be a problem, that you're not getting real scratches. But the big picture is you need to have a bevel that's completely flat all the way from tip to heel. That's completely flat, that your stone's hitting every centimeter of, because when you get to your 3000 stone, it's only going to hit the surfaces that are completely flat. So to get better mirrors, you need to work on getting better profiled edges. Because I get a lot of mirrors in for people to have me fix them, and they're polished, but they also have like janky spots that aren't polished, and like a bad heel and a tip that kind of fades off because it goes to a slightly different angle. So to get a really good mirror, 3000 will get you a mirror. So 3000 grit, and then strop with like a 3 micron or whatever on a strop. That will get you a nice polished edge. You're not going to get a perfect mirror. And honestly, I can't do perfect mirrors with my equipment, and I have good equipment, but I can get a nice polished edge. So overall, I guess what I'm saying is if you want a better mirror, work on getting a better foundation, and then the mirror will come on its own.
I've noticed that I'll Sharpie the edge like we all should, and then I'll use my 150 grit stone, right? And I remove all the Sharpie, and I do the other side, and then I do the top side, and then I do the back side to make sure that I'm really apexing the edge. I'll Sharpie it again, and I switch to the 400. And you know what I find? I find that most of the Sharpie comes off really easy, but there's this one area where the Sharpie doesn't come off quite so easily. And the answer is it was 150 smooth, but it's not yet 400 smooth. So you got to keep working it till all the Sharpie's gone. And then you Sharpie it again, and you go to your 800 stone, and you'll find the same thing happens again. There'll be another area where all the Sharpie doesn't come off immediately. It's because it's not flat. Like Tom said, it's not perfectly flat yet. So it's easy to Sharpie, use your 150, and remove all the Sharpie and think, I don't need to re-Sharpie. And then you move on with your stones, and you end up leaving behind those little areas that Tom described. So my suggestion is make sure you Sharpie for every new stone. It's a little overkill, but it will help you make sure that you're getting all the areas and that you're not leaving anything behind. Another tip I have for you is when you're done with your 150 stone, or whatever your low stone is, right? 120, 150, whenever you're done with it and you switch to the next stone up, you shouldn't see anything remaining from the old stone. Like all those scratches should be gone. So one way to do that is to go at a 45-degree angle this way, and when you switch stones, go the other direction. And if you see any remaining scratches going in this direction, that means you have more work to do and you got to get rid of them. So I've used that in the past to help me make sure I'm getting all my areas. But really, when you go to your second stone, you shouldn't see any residue of the first. When you go to your third stone, you shouldn't see anything left of the second. So Tom's absolutely right. If you're seeing scratches at 3000, it was probably your lowest stone that left them there, and you just didn't get them all. I've done it millions of times. You get all the way to the end. And it's 2 a.m. and you're really proud of yourself. And you're like, your eyes are bloodshot. And you're like, I can't wait to see this in the sunlight. You take it out in the morning and you go, I can't even take pictures of it.
That's the most frustrating thing. And
I hate
that's
that.
also This is a tip that I really mean this, and it's not just about showing off. If you want better mirrors and you want to be particular about them, do an edge and then take a video of your edge. The lighting will be less forgiving on your camera phone, and you will see crap wrong with your edge. Like, that's how I spot a lot of times where I have a little glint of Sharpie I didn't get off, or a spot that where I was at an angle that was slightly higher than the edge, so there's still a little bit of the bevel with the little sliver. Just being really, really critical of your edge, you will see things. And so, like, for me doing a mirror, I only charge $8 more than doing a satin edge, because reality-wise, if I'm doing a satin edge, it's already set up to do a mirror, and it's just 3 stones that take me a few minutes. It's not a big deal. Problem is, when you do those 3 stones, you start to highlight minor issues, become bigger issues that you now see on a mirror that you don't see on a satin edge at all. And so you get to redo it. So it's like $8, but I get to do an edge, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 times to get it all the way mirror, all the way looking clean.
Yeah, I've gone all the way up to this stone and then gone back down to 400 and started over because I left scratches in it that were just too big, and there was no hope of ever getting them out with the 8000. I could spend hours just rubbing it, and I'm never going to get there. So go down, start over, come back up. I'm on a wicked edge, so their lapping glass stones are not needed. Yes.
And I think
you can get great results with a wicked edge. So your system, there's nothing wrong with your system. Don't worry about that. They're very, very good.
People also have, I think, unrealistic expectations of mirrors. And I don't just mean when they first start. I mean, even if you're a pro at doing mirrors, like, there's knives of mine that have beautiful mirrors while I'm sitting at my desk, and I can take a video of it and I'll post on Instagram. People are like, I want that. I can take that same knife outside in direct sunlight, and you'd be like, that doesn't look that great at all. Like, and I'm like, it has a lot to do with your lighting. And so don't kill yourself if you have a mirror and it's got some micro scratches in it. That's kind of just a reality of sharpening. It's really hard to get a perfect edge.
Yeah, don't spend 20 hours on a knife. Go touch grass. Go live.
There's limits to how polished you're going to get stuff. And even with my $500 stone set, it's not perfect.
It is funny though with the lighting, because I did post a couple pictures of I think my Rex 45 that Tom put a mirror edge on, and so I was like, "What's wrong with your blade?" And then so I was like, "He's got a mirror edge on it. It's just the lighting." It's like, yeah, you see a reflection. That's why it looks weird.
Yeah, I definitely won't take a knife outside and go sit on my porch at noon with the sunlight directly over my head and take a video of it.
Yeah, wait till sunset.
Yeah.
Get that golden hour light. So it's nice.
So antimatter, there's a lot of people that use rubbing alcohol on their knives, and it's a gentler chemical to your body, so it's safer. But you need to remember that rubbing alcohol does contain water. There's no such thing as 100% pure rubbing alcohol. So read the bottle; it's got water in it. So there are times where you don't want to put water near your knives. An example would be like a coated M4 blade. You don't want water near that because M4 will rust if you think about it. And then DLC is porous. So you can get the water from the rubbing alcohol through the DLC, and it can sit there against the steel, and it'll cause rust in between the DLC, believe it or not. And there's a bunch of pictures in the group of guys that have rusted DLC blades, so proof's in the pudding. So rubbing alcohol, just be careful with it. Make sure it's dry and clean when you're done. You can honestly get the same result with mineral oil. You guys can go to any hardware store and buy a bottle of this. It's called Butcher Block Oil. So this is a food safe mineral oil. This bottle I think is $11, and I'm not even a third of the way through it. I bought it 4 years ago. And that Butcher Block oil is a really, really good oil. That's just a general purpose oil. If you put that on a rag, it's going to break down the glue and tape residue. So Tom, maybe you should need some. And then, Tom, what you could do is get some deer chamois and put some Butcher Block oil on it and just leave it as your oily rag, right? And that can be the rag that you use to degoo your knife. He does put oil on it after rubbing alcohol. Good. When
oil also has a magical property. Sorry, what was that?
Casey's inviting you to Lexington for the Kentucky Knife Show.
Kentucky Bourbon Show.
Casey, we need to go to what is it, Heaven Hill Distillery? I think that's what it's called. We need to go there. I've been here for 10 seconds and I learned stuff. Like it, David Jewell.
You know what's been interesting posting on TikTok is on Instagram when I post stuff, I kind of know what will do better or worse, but in general, everything kind of just does blah. But it's been fun being able to teach stuff on content I'm learning now again and put it on TikTok and actually get like, oh, people like learning stuff and they respond to it, but Instagram doesn't let anyone see it. This is crazy. It's fun being able to teach people stuff about knives.
One thing that really makes blood shoot out of my eyes is how Facebook bought Instagram and then tried to tank it on purpose because they didn't want it to compete with their platform. Why not? Why would you do that? And then okay, so fine, they do that and it survives and now they have this thing and they're using it. And then they want everyone to stay there as long as possible and they want them to interact with the content, but then they throttle the content. I don't understand. We would all spend more time on their platforms and we wouldn't go to TikTok if they didn't do that.
Yeah, it's just a slow downward spiral of like an average video gets 3,000 views on my account. Now that's a great video now at this point. Now it was getting really discouraging. I was making these like instructional videos for Instagram and I'm like, oh, I got like an extra 100 views more than usual. And now I posted on TikTok and it's like people are thankful to learn something. It's a much more rewarding platform to post on it now.
That's cool. I use grease for my nose or my 5-head and use it to rub off tape residue. It's organic. It's great.
I've talked about it here before, but if you're into beer bong and stuff, that's how you kill the foam is forehead grease in college. Forehead grease in the top of the beer bong funnel. It's really classy. It makes it taste even better.
That's how you fix a ding in your oak furniture, by the way. If you got like oak cabinets or a table, just put some forehead schmoo in it and it all blends in.
Nice.
Pretty much. Well, gentlemen, should we wrap this up?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sure.
Wonder if anybody's got anything left. I'm glad you could join, Seth. That was awesome.
Yeah, timing was perfect. It worked out well.
That's right.
Now he's got a whole like extra Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I got to find some activities to support some of this time in there, and definitely got to think of some restaurants to take him to.
Seth, take him to Mount Rainier. Tom's never been. It's 2 hours away. 2 hours for the most beautiful place in the world. And you know what's on the way, Seth? Mount St. Helens is on the way.
That's awesome.
I can see it from here.
I've told my kids about Mount St. Helens. Be cool.
Yeah, Mount St. Helens. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I have been to Mount St. Helens when I was a wee one. I went up there, but
give Tom 11 knives. Tell him you gave him 12. He'll spend the whole car ride trying to find the other knife. By the time he gives up, you'll be there.
Like, oh look, we're here.
I don't know where it is. I can't find it. Oh wait, there's a mountain.
There's only one thing I have like I potentially planned, and it's taking Seth to my favorite steak restaurant.
Oh, I'm excited.
They serve steak and they have good view of people working there while you eat your steak.
That's fun.
Yeah, the owner owns a slaughterhouse, so
Portland is known for a lot of things, but one of our pride and joy is we have more strip clubs per capita than any other city in the world, and they're just how we get down.
Fort Wayne, Indiana might have a bone to pick with you. The joke in our
I'm just talking statistics here. That's just that's the word on the street around Portland is we got it down.
The joke around here is that there's more churches and strip clubs in Fort Wayne than anywhere else in the world.
Nice.
Across the street from each other.
Yeah.
Well, when I was in Amsterdam, the red light district is actually in like the old center of the town, and in the middle
Right.
is the oldest church in the city, is right in the middle of the red light district. So
red light district is a trip. It's also district is misleading. It should be called block. It's the red light
Right.
block.
yeah, it's
Right.
So like a little 3x3 square block neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's best not to meet your heroes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I experienced it. I was good. I was with Kim. We saw what we needed to see and went back home and took a shower when we were done.
Me and my dad walked through it, and he's like, "Gee, they're really friendly in this neighborhood, aren't they?" And I was like, "Yes, they seem to be very friendly in this neighborhood."
Well, everybody send Tom an extra roll of tape. And yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time. I'm Jason. That's Tom and Seth, and we are Finger Flicked in Box. Everybody stay moist.
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 Bye.